Welcome to Africulture with yours truly, Larva McAfee, aka Nicole, with my special guest, Torgbui Ngoyifia of Aflawu, Gakli, Grand Lomé, where we discuss Africulture. It is all about Africulture. Let's get it started. Hello and salut everybody. With Trona Mesiame and Donna Mesiame. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us today on Africulture. It is another Sunday. I am so grateful for, my life and your life. I am so grateful to be online again with everybody today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Miato, fofonye dadanye no vinyo, dakpena mi be mi vaka mi kudomi egbea, egbe dimanche, afike mi le dogbeda be, miakpena dogbeda ni ma obena miakpota mi le sesere, mesia mi le sesere fike mi le alon, dakpena mi be mi vale ni kame kudomi, miava miagba dendo me po egbea, miagba discuter, endo egbea, donc miawezon kakalo. Egbea, kemgbe mi a commencé no ma dakpe na ma osibele kemgbe na dakpe na ma obe kplo mi va moaji. Et nous les marchés, technique et problème technique au le soubon. Ça fait 3 semaines et un problème technique au le soubon et un mec au a pu inviter au les gars na Kotogo connexion à les deux problèmes. Donc mi a yo ho abe ba pero mi anti les contrôles ya me les situation ame no kwata ba ignore ne no mba ignore chanle ke vejive ba yiro kwane ba yi parce que nyem nyale ke mira gba wedo. Thank you guys for being here. I was just saying that it's been 3 weeks now that we've been having technical issues, connection issues in Ghana and sometimes in Togo and and it's just I don't know what is going on. We tried everything and every time we try to get online, then something is happening. So whatever is happening, I just don't know. Right now, I thank God for us being here and I submit everything in his hands. He's in control. So whatever happens, happens at this point. But I just want to say thank you, everybody, for your support, for joining. We have important things to discuss. And every time, we come online or we try to come online, there is a technical issues. Right now, last week, the same thing happened with Torgbui. His connection, the audio. And then we tested it through the week. We did troubleshooting through the week. And then we just did this. It's been hours. We've been on this call doing it again just to make sure, changing, areas and locations just to make sure that we can bring this show to you so that we can discuss this, important topics with you. But then at the last minute, here I am, he's got disconnected again. So he's not online right now. We just tested this and went over and over, but he got disconnected. So right now I have to wait for him to get back on, and it's time. I can't wait or push this and make you guys wait. So here we are. But I thank you for hanging in with us. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for walking with us. I know the line and the connection should be better because we're in 2023. I mean 2024. Let me get it right. But unfortunately, there are some things that we just don't have control over. There are certain things that you plan so perfectly. You plan things so perfectly, but then come to deliver, and you like, what is happening? What is happening? In French, we say, l'homme propose, Dieu dispose. It means that you plan and God delivers. So when you plan everything and then it comes to delivery, God is the one that delivers. So right now I have planned, I have planned, prepare, did my research, did what I need to do, but I'm still waiting for Torgbui to get back online. And I really, even though I know what we discussed, I know what is going on, I know what to say, what not to say, I don't want to put words in his mouth. I don't want to take that away from him because I want him as expert. He is the expert as far as dowry is concerned, because today I wanted us to clarify and make sure that we discuss dowry again, since there was a connection last week, so that you guys can properly hear him what he was saying. Most of the things that were clear were the things that are coming from me, but the important things that he said, I wanted you to hear it from him. That's why I wanted to do this again. So while he's, trying to figure out what is going on with his connection, I just want us to, to think about that and give it a time. But if it doesn't, if it takes a while, maybe like 15 minutes, he doesn't get here, I'm just going to have to, we may have to figure out, maybe, I don't know what we're gonna do. Because Torgbui moved into a new house. I don't know if the house is the problem now or the connection at the house is the problem. But since he moved in at the house, that's the last week was the first time that we discussed this. We were live and this started it. So I don't know if it has to do with the house. He did it someplace else. We tested it someplace else. It went fine. Tested it in the house. It went fine. But then every time we want to get on is this problem. So you guys hang in there with me. So while I'm waiting for Torgbui, there's something that it is happening right now, right? So it is not, has nothing to do with the tradition, but it's a question. It's not just about the culture or our tradition. I want to ask you guys a question. If you're watching me right now, this is something I want to use this as we wait for Torgbui, right? Because we are here live. We are just family. We're just chatting. We're just having a conversation right now. So, you guys who are married and married couples, I want to ask you, when was the last time you spoke to your spouse? It might sound weird to you. When was the last time you spoke to your spouse? Wives, when was the last time you spoke to your husbands? Husbands, when was the last time you spoken to your wives? And if you've spoken to them, what was the one thing, what was the last time you told your wife or your husband? Think about it. Those of you, whether you're going to watch me later, think about it. What was the conversation like? Were you happy? Was it a happy conversation? Was it not so good conversation? Was it a conversation you're thinking right now? I may need to go back and clarify and have this, make sure that I clear the air. Think about it. So if you have even parents, when was the last conversation you had with your children? When was the last conversation you have your parents? Those of you who are children. I'm asking this because sometimes I will ask people, how's your wife? They're like, I really don't know. How is your husband? I really don't know. How is she doing? I don't know because I haven't seen her. We haven't spoken. I hear that all the time. And I'm like, this is your wife. This is your husband. This is your child. How can you say, I have not spoken to them? I don't know where they are. I don't know. How can you do that? So as you're thinking about this, when was the last conversation you had with your husband or your wife? Think about this. This is a scenario. You woke up one day, second day, and you have a wife, you have a husband, you haven't spoken to them. Or you have a nasty thing to say to them. You say something to them that, it really, you regret, right? So this is the scenario. The scenario, what had happened is you had a wife, your wife is in a house, your husband is in a house, you haven't spoken to them for ages. For a week for me, that's ages. And think about this though, keep hearing me. You haven't spoken to them because they did something wrong. They did something that pisses you off. And then you're like, I'm not going to speak to them. You sleep in the same house. You sleep in the same room. Sometimes not in the same room. You just refuse to speak to your spouse. And you are at work. You left, you went to work, and all of a sudden you get a phone call that, your husband is in an accident. And then you try to rush to go to the hospital. Because he is, after all, is your husband. He rushed to the hospital. He got into the hospital. And by the time you got there, it was too late. He's gone. That's the scenario that, something that is going on right now. That's happening right now. That had happened right now too. And I just it's in my head. I just have to let it out and just tell you guys, it is too late for this woman. She hasn't spoken to the husband she's living with for about, over a week now. And now she has no chance to tell her she's sorry. She has no chance to apologize or to forgive him. He's gone. Imagine being in that situation. So as we are waiting to get by and hoping that we can get through this show, I just wanted to start this and just remind all of you, husband and wives, parents, as parents, sometimes, we have a heat up conversation with our children. We don't see them for days. So I just want to tell you, wherever you are, if you have not spoken to your wife, I need you to speak to your wife right now and have something nice to say to your wife. If you have not spoken to your husband, I want you to say something nice to your husband right now. If you have not spoken to your children, I want you to call your children, tell them something good. If you have not spoken to your parents, I want them to call them. I want you to call them and say something nice to them. So can you do that? Can you just say something nice to your husband today? Say something nice to your wife today. Say something nice to your family members. Say something nice to somebody you have not seen before. And remember never to sleep in the same room, be in the same house with your husband and wife and just not speak to them. You have to speak. You have to have a conversation no matter what. Don't sleep on, anger, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. We may not wake up tomorrow. So I want to encourage all of you, no matter what he did to you, no matter what she did to you, no matter how you're feeling, do not go to bed, with anger, hating him, hating her. You need to clarify that. You need to fix it, whatever it is, fix it before you go to bed. And do not leave the house without saying anything, because coming back is not guaranteed. So that's what I want to share with you guys today. So think about that. So welcome back to Africulture. Bientôt, l'obligé là expliquer il y a qu'un blanc ya après nami parce que m'kele bio se benare mia meko et de son les miasi mi pompo dernière fois que mi pompo na mia son game yo jour que mi pompo na mia son mi pompo ku mia son parce que amero le a mbiono se bene mi bio se be oh les que sont au fond oh nyemnyo nyemnyale ke be fondo alors que son veni nyemnyale ke be fondo mi blanabe mi nyale ke be fondo yem le bio se benare dernière fois que au pompo ku son a c'était quand et puis qu'au pompo ku ya nyake mi blanc et nya nyore benyi mi blanc et nya vevere benyi blanc a domezebe nya mi blanc leke mi pompo do leke dernière fois que mi pompo leke be yido ye exemple ke mle nya nami nuke nam le blanc nya nyi bena amere nusu nyonu oh, écoutons la home vont pompo. Une semaine. Parce que obi jido wa nono. On pompo. E dorme. Bon, you have na inde joro strangi. E pudu konji. Kebeva do konji a. Nous swajo. M'gbado chance la pompo ku nous swa. E nyako pota le jiji ne amangba tengblo. Parce que nous swajo, nous swa ngbale. Ngbalagbe. Donc quand le globe na re ne mi la home kum ya strong. Ne mi ngbala home kum ya strong mi no pompo. Ne ogba biji chan. Mi pompo na mi anono. Devio mi pompo na mi anono parce que ma o globe na re ne mi desron America mini mi trozo America mi ave kora America beni donc ane jigba adome gbale vio de pepe chanre pompo ku do son so ke echan ana echan ba so ke mi ngba no mlanyi ku do ejibibio mi ngba no mlanyi be na re ni mangba pompo ku sonyo e be nu le ve adome nam amlanyi o ma pompo ku parce que e so mu le garantie o m'le garantie bena eso le jafon m'le garantie bena eso le jafon e view o la gba pe e to I know o la gba pe m'le garantie o donc ari pour me encourager mi akpata venari egbe ya non po pompo ku son o une semaine e ni egbe journée ya yo son na pompo ne no pompo ne aglonya veve enya vivire ne enya ke vivia o la glone enya ke le veve o la glone ne on gba pompo ku vi o mi wajre yo na glonya re ne ameko ongba si amere ben kokpo ebe nu leva tamena you na glonya de ni yembe na re mingba mlanyi keke mingba pompo na mia no no mingba na nyimia be na re mbiji do stronye kpanye mangba pompo ku une semaine mse gomi vare mia globe na re so mle garantie o mia so nu so no ke mia no no emila kamea enu ke joya emagba jo mava joro mia ji o gare mo enu jona da mere jola oh enyare leji me na ma ke glona mea won gblo no do chance à glen parce que somme les garanties wa ne ma una mi soa ni na mi ma una mi egbea ejiba no jo mi adakpe na ma o ye mi a onu ke mi do lawo ga me a mi ma esoa ngbale janyi regret na mi Okay, nyake mle blanc. Donc, quand on les tot et tot, kudo tok bia et nuit, les sous bena ben m'a discuté kudo mi voir. Et on a be tok bi va kame. Donc, mi la essayer. Aklo to bi ba mi essayer bele mi akobele ke bele jai ma. So, guys, I just repeated the same thing that I just shared with you guys, but I see Torgbui in a green room. So I'm gonna bring Torgbui in and pray that our audio is working right now, so that we can see if we can get on with our special topic diary today. So let me see if I can bring Torgbui in and pray that everything is fine. Hello, Torgbui.
Yeah, Nicole.
Bebe dolo. Miacha mi java odo.
Wele odo kenken.
Enyo. Okay, Torgbui, come in. Oh, Torgbui, go ahead.
Ela chene okaka.
La china miacha lo. Amen lo. Amen. 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 Okay, Torgbui was on kaka. Onya Torgbui. Go ahead. Enyo Torgbui akpe no chan. Akpe no chan ve mi le kame mi ave technique problème technique o chan mi dakpe no be o de patiemment ole mi agbo mi le odo so an importanti akpe no kaka mi dakpe no. Torgbui eso dimanche passé mi glon ameta biobio mi glon mi discuter voir connexion am ke ignore enti mi gba trova egbe be mi agbo ame kom se wa ameko ame subomsio enua ke okele pompo ame subomsio omse gomme et voam le tonyoro donc a endi mi gba tro mi ato répéter egbe parce que nous vevere beni et le vevere topic ya le vevere ne mi ase gomme donc a Torgbui dimanche a ok blona mi nke bio bena ameta bio est-ce que le vevere ma mke bio. So guys, I family, my family, I'm asking Torgbui again because the connection last Sunday, we are going to talk about dowry again, as I promised you guys. So I'm gonna ask Torgbui again, how important is dowry? Our traditional. This is traditional dowry. I will say dowry, not diary, because it sounds like diary when I say it, but dowry. How important is dowry? So I'm gonna let Torgbui take it over. Torgbui olagba explique nami vide po. No agba explique nami game nu kokota mi manke a mi touche o vide. So you see what's happening. So you can see that Torgbui is a little bit, I think he's gone again. So we are not going to go through this again. This is just crazy to say the least. With this technical issues, connection issues. I don't know if it's a Sunday thing, but I'm waiting for him to get unfrozen so that we can get back on. But I'm going to remind you guys, I think he's back. Okay. Torgbui, are you back? Obe mekele mi agbo.
Connexion.
Yeah, elle est de fond. Yeah. Yeah.
Nyanutu na Africa to the West Africa. Precisely Nigeria, some part of West Africa. Matenwa Toko, it's never done. Having clear. Mr. Gomez, the corner there. West Africa, Adola Zozoli, government, Dodo Yawa, for the Bato Velia, Tolia, La Fiado Crossine, Avigilao, what's all, Nonu, can you be Vinao, Bernade? Afina, wala kebe sonde dea, Numa Kuku, Inajil, and Yono Bakpaji, and Nutsora Bakpaji. Le hado magbana no de konwo no sese o la masenya o me okuna no mo kata me na o sok bevoa afi ni yomi la be esronde dia afi sonde de pe dodoa ba yinaji ko se be fi mitoro nyiso yenyama akpe
enyo togbi fike mi sore wanji enwa yemi globe na o mantengbe no ve bi onyo no atavoa. So the other question was, you can't refuse it after you go through the diary. So Torgbui is saying that you have to follow the proper procedure like we explained last week. So my second question to him, dowry, asking of a hand is very, very important. He's saying that if you're, we African in our culture, it is very, very important. You cannot have a wife in your home and then call her a wife if you didn't go through the proper procedure. If you didn't go through the dowry, you didn't ask for her hand, you didn't go to the procedure, you cannot call her your wife. So my second question is, Torgbui, can you annul? Can you go through the process, pay for the dowry, and then say, no, I made a mistake, I don't want her, take her back? Torgbui, that's the question.
Yo akpe elodu do globe enumono na dopo tojigli now. Nibe abawo ye na wepo ye na wo gbedo ye dopo kola yo dwara se phone na sonde there. Kwa nagaba no insambe your mistake menya me Gmail aye ya ta ye gbia bele mi abe de kono menena ma manya rofo enye yaji o abobe yaji o English of rough. We don't do that. We never do that in our culture.
Okay, Torgbui. Et nous qui m'kobena elle est plus important comme connexion mlinyoa. Yem jibe mi a discuter elle nyebena. Torgbui is saying we cannot refuse. You cannot go through the process and say I want to annul it. So that's why you always have to be sure before you start the procedure, before you chase this girl and go visit her parents and do all of that and pay for the dowry, you need to make sure that you are sure before you do it. So that's what he's saying. It doesn't work that way. Although I have a different topic, we're going to talk about that in what circumstances that could be okay. We're going to discuss that another time. But right now, my question, what brought me to this topic is what is happening today is people who don't believe in it. So Torgbui spoke to us last time and he clearly told us this, and I want us, hopefully everybody can hear this. Torgbui amole, amekole globena yo ametabiobio, mle vevero, ametabiobio ayo mle jawel. Yo mle jawel ade. Ole kunyonu, ojivi, des années. Ameron tosha mama yo viole si. On peut bien attendre parce que nous sommes na yom kraro. Muni nun tonto benyo. Enya kela si o la glona o. I'm saying those who are living with women with children even sometimes grandchildren who don't believe in dowry, who don't believe in asking of a hand and paying a bright price and going all of that. What does Torgbui has to do? What does Torgbui has to say to them? Torgbui and Yawa.
Yo madakbe now na bia nyachi abe yo mekane wa enye vodadare mi adekonu nti ye enye vodadare mi abakota okpele ahon yo minya enye vodadare wanti mele po maten pon nyonu dare do ki ogbo kaka ba fofu aba divina ava hotogbi ovi ihana ho mama yovi ko mabiatawa umo wone amanye taflati fufulu ble si maje amadokui nutu yo wo alekepo no mo alo no alekepa gbawa english gbabe ole irresponsible umanya nutu dasi holao le mia pe hado magbana no le mia be dekonu ma umata yo be nutu hola mo mako asi ho hode kemele wanti we don't do that, we never do that. Nyɔnua enu xɔasie ye nyɔnua bubu bene ɔnare benyi donc ɔnu menya nu ko na kplɔ da ko anɔ gbɔ anɔ tsitsi na wa ko na fɔ anu fudo me, we don't do that. Ne tsɔgodo ne nyɔnu mama va li wa ele ya va dro ame ba gba ye agba ma adroe de ta ye o ma tɛntsa de ta te gbedegbede o ŋutɔ wo famille kpe dzidzimevi wo wa wo la tui ke ma vɔ mi ma wɔni enye kɔ na mia de kɔnu.
Okay, Torgbui Akpe. Torgbui is saying the question he said is it's just not right. You just can't do that. You can't have a woman in your life, in your home, giving babies. You calling her your wife, but you never pay the dowry. You never paid the bride price. You never went to the process. You didn't go to the parent, ask her hand. You didn't officially marry her. He's saying that is just not, you can't do it. That is something that we have to really avoid. So this means that if you are somebody who is in this situation, we just pleading to you that, you need to do it right. You need to do it right for the respect of your wife, your own respect, the respect of both family. You have to do it right. And, we can't ask somebody, we can't force anybody, but we're just letting you, in our tradition, in order for you to call a woman your wife, you have to do it right. You have to ask for her hand. You have to pay the bride price. So that's what Torgbui is saying. So Torgbui, my next question is, there are people living abroad. They have asked for this lady's hand in back home. And they were hoping that they're going to come back here abroad, and then they're going to bring them. But they came here and things did not work out the way it should work out. So in this situation, some people even here, even though they asked for somebody's hand back home, they are here, they ended up marrying somebody else because they did not have a way. They don't have a way of going back or bringing back the woman. Sometimes it's because of the circumstance, because of papers or whatever the reason. But sometimes it's because they don't have interest in that woman anymore because they didn't think, they are going to maybe lose interest or whatever the thing is. We don't plan. It's not like you planned it. In your mind, when you leave in the woman, you thought, I'm just going to come. Within a few months, I'm going to bring you with me. We're going to be husband and wife. But then you come, things change. So, lebio tok bebe na gado me. Mi a me kovana yovo dea. Mi la bio nyonu ta. Parce que mi hon sebene mi va. Mi le jak plom nyonu ava. Dans quelques mois, kwa nyonu la va kudomi. Voine mi va. Et nous, on va y nanene. Gado moi, ça fait des années, kaka meron to chantro de na nyonu boule fie. Amedowa, c'est parce que ogbale di nyonu, amedowa ogbale di nyonu, ogbale intéressé na nyonu, voa, nyonu a jo le fun le tote. Et le tote, vo jo le fie le vivre a pe viwo. Donc, am le bio, Torgbui benare, ame ko le situation ame fifi diare, e nya keye le sine bag blona oma, le ke odo la wedo. Torgbui.
Yo, mi dakpe. Ne agbela meji. Nenyi be kafla. Bia cho magbo le kuhio yo ke me mi no vio le to le gbeji le nyonu kpaji eyele ntu goma ha na onye be edesro le ngbedodo ya be ne yi ye wo ma ile aba krokle wa o ma ha ba glo ye mo ye de kama le na ga gbo nto chawa ye ejoba zo fima chila ro ha chi Africa le fi o ha ne chi fima ye wona de kama le bo ba gbo yo ha ma ba gbo ame yiwo va yi wɔ srɔ̃ɖeɖea na wo yiwo nɔ teƒe alo tɔwo kple nɔwo kple ƒometɔwoa woanɔ anyi kple nyɔnuvia be ƒomewo dzilawo kple ƒome yiwo nede nu mea eye woa anule aleke be srɔ̃ɖeɖe alo woa canceli. Megava blɔk ame aɖe ƒe nyɔnu ada ɖi in the name of I travel outside. No, we never do that. Nyɔnua hã sese le lãme le ha si abe ŋutsua ke ene. Ye efegɔtsa kafla nyɔnu ba gbea eƒe le tsi na vidzidzi alo fufɔfɔ ta ne kpɔ be ema te gbɔ gbeɖegbeɖe o eyi amena mɔ eƒe eve ƒe ne ƒe ade ƒe nyi o gbexɔwo ma wa ɖeɖe ame aɖe ƒe nyɔnuvi ne kpɔ nutsua ne wa ɖe.
Enyo, Torgbui akpe. So what Torgbui is telling us, those people who are living here, and then if you have no way of going back, Torgbui is encouraging us to see your parents, see their parents, so they can go back and meet, and they can have a discussion so that you can release this woman, so that she can be free to marry another person. Because as we know, we women, Torgbui say we women, we have, you know how we say our clock is ticking. Our clock is ticking. We have to have children. We have to, we have certain, years to have children and all of that. So he's saying the proper way, instead of just leaving that woman, they are not doing anything. If you know you can't marry this woman, if you know it is not possible, you need to release her. But that means that you have to have the parents meet together and release her. She's not your responsibility anymore. So that is Torgbui's advice. So Torgbui enya kenke blowe nyare ke la sinye mbema enyento ape histoire de mbema no semaine passée. So kenye cham le joa kemle jo le mea nusu amerike la sinye nye kwa bele mi le pompo. So mi ko jeune vive jeune mi ami les jeunes donc ola be mi anto mi la gbo ne mi ya ma nye chama plova ne mi ya ola va mi la oleke kem jova via et nous on va y neno alo donc anya nous nyonu be côté et nous on va le neno donc à kem va fi avoir et nous souvient que les totes et que espoir et que les deux espoir les totes des années. Oh eva do afide anya yin gbale buenti o nyem le bu enu e bena possibilité de pe ngbale voa e ya que les continue les totes bon et les totes voi vile kakpo le si e vile kakpo be nyina noa. So e noa va bena eleji mama yo vio fifia eva yo bena de eva yo même benam debe bio tanyo Torgbui bio tanyo munyi be mi bio miata mi jesi mi ave parents be nyare po voa eva bio permission evenade mana e permission ne ya desron parce que noa le ji mama yo vio que be biomia ejo bizarre na be nyiku mi wo dossier de pepe mi signé ne pepe on kenti o le ji permission so gbonyo o le free la desron o le free la desron ga que me droa voa e biom permission e be mana e permission donc am ne permission avenade never desron ne ba ji mama yo vio na violo. It be very well. So I am telling Torgbui that this story, my own story. I know I'm a girl. I'm not a man. But when I'm leaving back home, I had a boyfriend, and we were into it. And we were like, when I come here, he's going to come, and we're going to have a relationship. We're going to stay. So when I came here, obviously, it didn't work out that way. And it's been years and years and years and years. And I didn't even think that he was still serious. But this man, at one point, he's a only child to his mother. So at one point, his mother was asking him for grandchildren. So because he's waiting for me, he had to ask me that to give him permission so he can go and marry, so he can have grandchildren for his mother. I was like, why have you been waiting for me? I didn't tell you to wait for me. Why did you wait? So just the fact that he been waiting, I'm not saying he probably haven't had any girl or whatever. I'm not saying that, but he was waiting because we give ourselves promises. We made promises before I left. Even though he didn't go and ask for my hand, he still wanted me before he can actually go married. He wanted me to verbally say, you are free to go married. And that happened to me. That happened. So I just want to say, even though we didn't promise anything, that happened.
That must happen because
the verbal, something you say, yeah. Parola, elle est very powerful. Yeah.
means the word is sacred.
Sacred, yeah, that's it. The word is sacred.
Yeah, so that
Right.
guy is a I don't know him.
Yeah.
Guy on word.
Yeah.
Can enjoy relationship here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I salute that faith.
I salute. If you're on a call, if you're watching, I'm not gonna call your name. I know you are watching, but Torgbui salute to you. Torgbui salute you for doing it right. So Torgbui salute you for doing it right. Because Torgbui is saying that our Torgbui is saying our voice is powerful. The things that we say to each other. It is very, very powerful. The promises we make to each other is very, very very, very powerful. So when you make promises to each other, even though you didn't seal it with signature, even though you didn't buy the goat and stuff and give it to the parent, you still give your word. So it is very, very powerful. So in order for you to break it, you have to say it to break it. So sometimes you have to say it to break it. So that's what Torgbui is saying. That's what this man did. Because we made promises, he wanted for us to break it before he can be free. Knows that he has no responsibility. He has nothing holding him. He knows that he's free. He's free. I will not come back and blame him for lying to me or saying something that he didn't mean. So he's saying he's saluting this man. And I know this man watches. So I am saying, Torgbui is saluting him. I'm not going to call his name, but he knows who he is. So thank you very much. So it is very, very important that we give our word. When you give our word, it is very, very important that we walk on it. We deliver. Or if you know you can't do it, just be honest about it. Say, you know what? It is not going to work. I was wrong. I did not know. I made a mistake. So all of us who are abroad, all these men that I know you guys, you are abroad and you have these women waiting for you back home. If you know it's not going to work, just tell them. Just call their parents and your parents and just make it right. Free them so that they can move on. And if you know you have time frame, you can give it to them. But just be honest. Let us be honest with each other. If you make a promise you can deliver, it's okay. L'homme propose, Dieu dispose. That's what I was saying earlier. Only God. So we have to make sure things doesn't happen. We can move on from there. So Torgbui, thank you. You are faji, no? So, ne moba huna meo. Ame via kota alo ne moba huno. C'est ça. C'est ça. Ame via kekem. So that's one thing that is important. Torgbui is saying that because when we go to this dowry, the dowry, dowry, when we give it, sometimes we give alcohol, there are drinks, there are food, there are some, they kill the animal certain way. It's a sacred thing. You know, asking for a dowry is a sacred thing that they do to connect the two of you. So when you decide that you're not going to do this anymore, when you decide that this is not going to work, when you leave and then you realize it's not going to happen, when they go back, they have to do another ceremony to break it, to set you two free, so that the woman, when she marries somebody else, she's going to have peace wherever she goes. And even you, the man, you're going to have peace in your relationship as well. So it is important that in order to break this bond that was sacred, you know, they put water, they give it to the ancestors to drink this drink for you, the two of you. The water, the food, the things that the sacrifices, I mean, the ceremonies for our ancestors, they did all of this. It's important that when you break in it, they have to do it the right way so that things works out in your life, because there are certain people, we do certain things back home, we promise certain things back home, and we come here because we don't break this the way we're supposed to break it. Things don't work out in our lives. We are trying to figure out what is going on in our lives. It's because you have some promises back home. You did certain things. You did not break it. You did not, you know, separate it properly. You didn't do what you're supposed to do. So it is important that we do that. Because I was having a conversation, Torgbui, I was talking to somebody, they were saying, yeah, you have to bring just like they drank it, you have to go back. The ceremony needs to done to undo it. Just like you did it. It has to be undone so that you can be properly free. Not just saying, no, I don't want her anymore. Well, there were other things that happened. There are ceremonies that happened. So they have to undo it properly for the two of you to be truly free, to move on to your life. So I hope that, you know, we are learning that and we will take that into a consideration. Torgbui akpe. Torgbui enyakem jake bio chanyi benade. Implication kele de vie ko le dia. Ameko evi ole desron bio ameta voi vie le wasiare. Impact kele de vie on dio. I'm asking Torgbui, those children that we have without getting married, without going through the proper dowry and paying for the bride price and asking of a hand, officially marrying, are there any implications with these children that, you know, we have, children or grandchildren?
Yo, me dakbe do ta plachina no kwala ona do kwala technical
technical problem
Bible abere ne gomadukpe ni ogbade nuka mejojwe agatenwo ne gomadukpe ni ogba nuka mejojwe agatenwo we mave menye be medel menye be de cha avec plomade pe nyonu agbana pri dare do ki ogbo yo primi le mlonyi le fon le jivio kaka Torgbui avi devi o mi je o mata yo be strong de pe view ozunuka kafla taflate michekem manyi ba ne enupolao ozunuka bolovio. Excuse me to use that word. Ozu bolovio ye cho mianto miaji kaka kode de viojia le emme lo be clamia o makpo anyi nopo o manonyira zipijio ye bubu maternal and paternal security ke yo hona kenye shitu na sonde de ma mele de via ojio mele ojio ye gamadele java va na mauma venu no va trowa na make nuchu otsa na ji nuchu vi o chola be plama de nyonu adari ne ono vi o kana jia nuchu de ava kplo ha na ma agbana no gbo adofuna one no dukwa ono jivi they become layers, like chickens. They will just become layers, conceive and lay. And for football, I know produce a view. Nanuchua, we don't do that. We never do that. It will come back to you. We don't do that. Excuse me.
Torgbui. So Torgbui is telling us it's just not, you can't, the children, when you having children without proper marriage, you're not married, legally married, and you having children, using some word that, Torgbui is just honest. Torgbui is telling us that it is just wrong. We have this in English. We call children who have no fathers bastards, and excuse our word, excuse the language. That's just a word. They are called bastards, and there's a reason why they call them that. They're calling them, saying that you don't have a base, you don't have, you have no father, you have no mother, for example. So you are not born legally the way you're supposed to have born. I'm trying to hold my words here, but that's what Torgbui is saying. Torgbui is saying that if we are just, if you have a woman in your home, you are not married to her, you didn't respect her enough, respect your family and their family enough to ask for their hands. They are just layers in your house. They basically just like, how they are not, you cannot respect. There's no respect. So he's encouraging us, especially we Africans, we away, whether you are not away, you listening to me right now. It is very, very important. It is very, very important that if you have a woman in your home, you need to ask for her hand. It is very important. It is important for you. It is important for her. It is important for the children, especially the children. It is important for the children. So Torgbui is just against doing this. Torgbui is against not going through the dowry, not asking for a hand, not paying proper bride price. He's just against it, period. There's nothing around it. He's just saying, don't do it. Don't do it. That's why he's apologizing. He has to tell the truth, but he is apologizing for the word, but it is the truth. So we have to do it right. And we have to honor our traditions. We have to honor our traditions. It's very, very important that we do that. And we know even in the Bible, it's plain and simple. Guys, I know my father, my brothers, I love you guys very much. It is plain and simple. If you're living with a man at home, or living with a woman at home, you are not legally married. They don't even know, some people don't even know your parents. They never even met your parents. You're living with them at home. Biblically, traditionally, it is adultery. That's what it is. It is adultery, is fornication, I should say. It's actually fornication. It is fornication. So if you're living with a man without being married, it is fornication. It's not adultery. I used the wrong word. It is fornication. You are fornication. Yeah, it's fornication. That's what we call it. That's what Torgbui, that's the transition explication of it. Is you are committing fornication, plain and simple. There's no but about it. That's just the truth, guys. It is not insulting somebody. It's not saying, it's just what is called it. That's what it's called. So we do this without knowing. Mi wana gado mo Torgbui c'est parce que mi se gomme. Ame subon wana se gomme. C'est na tradition en gomme. Entio one do. Donc I'm saying sometimes we do it because we don't understand it. So that's why we are doing this, to explain, so that we understand that our tradition is very, very important. Nyabi tradition est très, très, très important. Oh, go ahead, Torgbui.
La société amère. On faut le snoto. Alors il y a des gens, il y a les responsables. They cannot and they will never parce que tous les gars au moment peut-être n'a pas la siwa qui n'a influencé au plein. Wanole dacha olano olano ko ano ko sana. Ye o ma fonu cha ola consider. Ye jogbe voete ne nyonu ma kapla. Chowa. Ola biata zi vela gbang hafi obaidi. Nesi na kareji. Ne egbebe ma wewa. Ola fongon li fidel. Wagbe ma manyo gbere o. Ama agere adame. We don't do that. We don't do that, and we should not do that.
Wow.
Kalemo bubu chaji nenye nutsu. Ye ma bia onwa taw. Ye onu bi lesi ova jobe gbere kagbe ova bia fiata. Nyono be fami ola sizagba. Ola sizagba de.
Oh, I see.
Donc, voici à quoi éviter à moi. Parce que mes bien maintenant.
Bio in noato. Who shall value bio e de viata?
About a list cigar
Right, right. So I have to explain this to you guys. So Torgbui is saying, I just to bring this to the next level. He's saying we cannot do this, right? We cannot do it. At the same time, he's adding this as when you have children, for example, you have a daughter. They never ask for your hand, and you have a daughter now. And then you're expecting now you are getting a dowry from this man who is trying to marry your daughter. When you bring that dowry, when they bring it, your family, the woman family, they're going to seize it because you never ask for their hand. You never ask for the mother's hand, so they're going to seize this that they are bringing for the daughter because to take it as for her. So this is a very disrespect. It's going to be shameful. It is very, very shameful. So however you look at it, Torgbui is saying it is just wrong. Every way, however you look at it, it is very wrong. That is something that we just need to avoid. Midola avoid, midola evite. Torgbui disappeared again. His connection, okay, I think he's back. Connection is gone. So Torgbui is saying that we just have to do everything necessary to avoid, having to avoid dowry, asking for a bright price. We have to make sure that we are following the procedure. So we are encouraging everyone who is listening. Our traditions are very, very important. It is very, very important that we follow our tradition. Our culture is very, very important. If you don't know, ask. If you don't understand, ask. But it is important that we follow our tradition. So that's all that we are saying, because there's a lot of implications that we don't understand. Sometimes our children are going through things abroad and we don't understand why. It's because there are certain things that we didn't follow. There are certain things that we're supposed to do, we didn't do. So we just have to ask ourselves, we look at your relationship. What did you miss? What did you escape? So we have to think about it and ask for our parents, ask for the elders, so that we can follow the proper procedure. Torgbui, enyareka deniel kemleja bio enyibena we mi wonuya eso niso. The question was amero le fifijen. Torgbui ole chargé ame also ameta bio so lo business. No be wa bio ameta lista la jiji lobo kaka me amatentu. Enti amero le omtele bio ameto. Surtout non yabo la America lo yo vodea o lista ba ina G plus e ga ina G plus ne éducation que les nyon wasia egala iji le que nyon a jetugbeje doa egala iji. Donc elle est notre difficile na monewa bio nyonuta. Enti are Torgbui enyako le jagbona me on ma expliquer l'anglais me. Torgbui, I'm asking Torgbui, dowry in our African tradition, dowry nowadays is becoming is becoming a business. It's money-making business. Last Sunday, I was saying that in Guinea, they are charging dowry 100,000. People are paying 100,000. That's just the money. in Kenya, I was saying that in Kenya, it's 5 years salary to pay for a dowry, just for a woman to come to marry a woman. And I also reminded us that there are certain area in Kenya that the women actually pays the man's dowry. We say that that's a fun fact. But those who are men who are paying the dowry, it's 5 years of salary in order for them to just bring a woman to live with them, to call them a wife. So my question to Torgbui is, some of these people, family members, parents who are doing this thing, turning this dowry into a money-making business and making it impossible for young men or even older men to ask for their women, these women hand to follow the tradition and do the right thing. What does he have to say to them? So Torgbui, what do you have to say to these family?
Nothing wrong about. Okay. Me, la fiadota le West Africa du inetare nyanti evelia evegoketare nyanti le miagbo le West Africa le fia be etni adoli alo komama dolia nyɔnu aƒe kpekpeme le si ne wu primary school nu eta bebia ele vovo ne de secondary school ye ba xɔ yibo ma eta bebia ele vovo ne wɔ campus exɔ licence alo exɔ nu ya exɔ how do we say exɔ masters alo ndị ibeta bebia ele vovo amanya nu do anyi le state are le dure tare nyanchi evegwa inada o chabe culture nyema bon boa atso tabia bia cho ajododo amanovi de toi menya mebeketo amanovi de toi menya mebeketo mi ke bonala ejore yin to jiyan po mi nyon tabia pele mi agbo le fia list ya ni matem I cannot imagine obe famille guy onye ta o khlenuo na mi ale gbegbebe mi matem well mi trogbo nke va jo emegbe o onu via va fofu de ka va fo eva de fune fo gbom ya fu funu ko va de kenye disgrace to the family ta mi ga cho tabia bia mi akodo acho nyɔnu na de srɔ̃a enunyude nyɔnu anɔ tsuƒe na nutsua edo nutsua wònye nutsu ena nutsua le responsible na gbe ta mi ne mi be miawɔ ɖe dekɔnua dzi dekɔnua nanɔ nyi na zikpui dzia mi de personal interest ame yiwo mi nye kɔta yiwo mi nye dzesi mia wonya fi ke mi soa wonya fami ke mi nyia numawɔ mia ɖi la dzo mi gatsɔ tabebia atsɔ wɔ adzɔdodo haditɔre edira be Jimmy Hope pe asɔnam yɔmene fani egblɔ be avivɔ mewɔna me kaka wɔfu dzo ava dze dzo me o womewɔnɛ agbene ni mianɔ yi miatsɔ zingi atɔ wado mia dzilawo le nutsu kpadzi le nyɔnu kpadzia miawɔ gbea le mia viwo be tabiabia mea bubu ne nɔ ŋuti ɖoɖo ne nɔ ŋuti eye miade se xɔxɔ ŋuti mi gasa miabe viwo ne mi sa miabe viwo le tabiabia be ŋkɔmea viwo la ya tso pepe vɔa ela ɖo aya nɔ gbe miawoa enye wòku bubu ne nɔ srɔ̃ɖeɖe ŋuti amegbetɔwo kple mawutɔwo na be ŋkume akpe na dzidziƒe nukpɔlawo katã.
Amen. So Torgbui is telling us, my question was to Torgbui was, those people, you already heard the question. Torgbui said we can't do that. We just can't do it. We cannot turn our, dowry, this important tradition into money-making business. It's just wrong. It is wrong. And he's telling us that it happened to him. They went to ask for somebody's hand, and the list was so long. The man parent, they can't afford it. And what happened was the girl ended up getting pregnant. And she ended up getting pregnant because the man could not ask for her hand and started doing their thing. And that was a disgrace for the family. So this thing, having a man come and ask for your child hand, it is something that is supposed to be respectful. It's supposed to, they are doing this to respect you. And to have this girl in their home, it's supposed to be something that you are proud of. It's supposed to be something you're supposed to be helping them. So by charging too much, you don't want the family to go and borrow money and just to pay for a dowry. And then the woman comes in your home, she's going to be hungry. You know what I mean? So what is the point? So we shouldn't use this as a money-making business. We shouldn't be bringing our children. We shouldn't be charging too much, ridiculous amount for, young men and young women trying to start their life, to pay for a dowry, spend so much money just to pay for a dowry, and then they can't support your child when they come home. So Torgbui is saying he's discouraging everyone who's using this important tradition, to turn it to a business. It should not be a business. Asking for a dowry should not be a business. It should be a very, very important sacred tradition. It's better for you to bring to even charge a little bit to this man so that he can use the rest of the money and take care of your child, take care of, your grandchildren, save money for your grandchildren. So that's what we are saying. People are suffering today. There is a man, he literally said that he's been trying so many years and he just can't afford it. Because people think you are abroad, you are money, you have money. No, just because you're abroad, doesn't mean that you're rich. Being abroad we are even having a lot of difficulty living abroad to come up with all the money that you are charging. There was the guy was in Europe and he's just struggling just to make it. He just tried every year. He just couldn't make it. He has to confess. He said, this is the reason why I have not asked for my wife's hand. He's calling her his wife, but she's not his wife, but he couldn't afford it. So we cannot do this. So we have to try to just be reasonable. Whatever it is traditionally, just ask and encourage the man, give the man a power, to save whatever money is for your grandchildren, for your daughter, to help your daughter instead of charging too crazy amount. For them to come up with. And it's taking long and long. It's taking years and years and years. And your children ended up having children, illegitimate children. Your daughter is having illegitimate children, but you're sitting there waiting for them to bring this amount. It is not about you. It is about them. So let's look at it that way. So that's our advice for, our parents who are saying, we are not saying that your child is not beautiful. We are not saying that she doesn't have the degree that she has, but we are saying that it is very, very important that, the man coming and doing this is more important than her degree that she has. Don't charge people based off your daughter's degree. Don't charge people because how light-skinned she is, how beautiful she is. She has a nice hair. She can walk. She has a nice boobs. All of that. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to just follow the tradition. So, think about that, guys. Think about that. And you guys who are waiting to ask for your wife's hand, and you still your woman hand, I cannot call them your wife, your woman hand, maybe have this conversation. Maybe one pompoku do benade gamla sinyo. E gamla sinyo gakela sinya kwe avoir imleji be ma de mi abevi. Ele vevere be ma de mi abevi mleji la onomi. Lekemila wero tamnyo a onebio wachawa pompoku do no abio. I'm just saying, even you guys who are waiting, maybe have the conversation with the parents. Tell them, I really can't afford this much you're asking. I can't do it. I have to take care of your daughter. I have to take care of their children. So we have to come to a middle ground. Middle ground. Torgbui, and team like business here, parce que présent oui là no il y a bien discuter mais là et gars qui la signe ya et gars la signe ma so well vraiment, et des fous.
Bobby
Mhm.
onyele kem.
Mhm.
Mi dena mi nyɔnu bia tɔ mi dɔni para o. Wɔba kpɔ ekpasi aɖe.
Mhm.
Va travailler parce que mieux de apporter famille la responsabilité de la famille. On nous vient appeler seriously. Oyona tu avais famille. Liste que tu as
Ah, okay.
La fille de Ocha, qui est maintenant ahatukwa matia hôtel bine neba abonya
Ola Didi, okay.
Ça dépend approach que mi wo ale que ye ukpo tu apono no medo ebuna mea dona do kuire jia kwa odena nyonu vianto hame de famille anchi on vianto awana background worker awana de siade afi mi omi vayina na ma jona na maucha mia parawa nu tu via ba parawa ni gana de famille oji ni brone asame ala fiaro na ma fido na egble o sama kwa avo wo gona banu kemi bo be mi treva wa madewa categorically they refuse and if they refuse play have a consequence way ta ni poto le de kuku be amanobi de toi menya me be keto bila no tu ya do fu me no ne wa lon plama ne o ho be nyai ha mi ma cho me vi wa dojo vo a o va chu ko ya fu pepe ava no nyi uchu ava doga adze femen no kamela bo wo ne ba we a meso we don't do that and we should never do that tami de kuku na jilao kwaji le nyo kwaji mi wa gba no hoju na mi abi ojiji me dira ba pe
Torgbui, I have to repeat this for you guys. This part, Torgbui is saying that sometimes the girl can go and plead for the parents. She can really plead and tell the parent, this is too much. My fiance or the guy, he just can't afford it. Torgbui is saying that sometimes the women can do that too. You can go and plead. And sometimes this is 4 bottle of whiskey or whatever they want. They can reduce it 6 to 4. If whatever the fabric they're asking, they can reduce it. So it is also an option for the girl to go and plead with the parents and just tell them where they're coming from so that, they can be reasonable and reduce it. And he also said that sometimes they can look at how respectful the man is, how responsible the man is, how hardworking the man is. And they can also look at that and reduce it a little bit. But he just saying that do not let not use this sacred tradition, this important tradition as a money-making business. Let's just do it right the way it's supposed to go. So, Torgbui, on bena mi academy vide bebe connexion academy na mi vide donc mi adak bena ma mi adak bena ma o be ma do bena me kole kamera Dr. Tachu Torgbui enyi si ana be president Dr. Tachu moaji a great job. Thank you Dr. Tachu for joining in. I have Abuyama, you said great teaching. Thank you. I'm glad that you like the teaching. Good teaching, you said. Fuseni, Torgbui Fuseni ekevaji o fufo ekevaji o nyuso mpo wa wa. Chaque fois Fuseni o gloire félicitations pour gloire chaque fois. It's something different, please. One day you're gonna meet him. I'm sure you guys gonna meet. Yeah, so those of you who are online, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Tachu, for joining. And for Mauko, is that Mauko, watching from Ghana. Hey, thank you for watching us from Ghana. We're spending the afternoon with Aslo. Good to see you. Thank you for being online. Ghana in the house and Togo is in the house. We have Ghana and Lome in the house. So Accra, I should say Accra and Ghana in Lome in the house. So hello to you guys. Thank you. So Torgbui, benare mia to telefie. Mia be conversation am le javo. Ende benya enu très important. Benyi mila no veji la no veji. Ende benyi mila no continue la no discuter parce que c'est très 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 important. Vamji bena semaine prochaine, God willing, et connexion à nani nyuaria. Semaine prochaine, mia pon poso. Nyonu kewe gakeme. Elle est OK. Bena ola ten tro nyonu aso ina estron. O ten globe no gare pepe mlo voa. Mniabe gado me situation do. Oyo labe tande pepe mlo voa. Mniabe situation do le. Keye ola be OK, ça va. Donc a mila discuter enwa. Mila ba discuter. OK, mila ba discuter côté parental, côté maternel ari. Mais keo do la ten de wa nono. O kole ko de na tasi ovi o na vi ovi amelela bena ye dadabe ye nobe novi ye de nobe novi anya no le segomo. Côté keo mi do la famille o ke mi do la no mi la ten de parce que côté parental et Benjamin le blanc. Au blabe le côté parental. Et côté maternel on la blabe le funo voir. Mlejilanya côté cœur après et novi est-ce qu'on l'attend de novia est-ce qu'on l'attend de et novia mi le la discuter donc à Torgbui et que mi la discuter semaine prochaine à l'one connexion à ignorant que mi la discuter prochainement donc nemi discuter gakeme elle est OK na retourner son wa nemi discuter on voit mi la blanc et à me dédé à me collade à me comme les jade wa donc à mi la discuter one chan parce que chan le vevere. Okay guys, family, my guys, I'm saying that next time Torgbui comes online, we are going to talk about at what point will the family just say, okay, you have all the right that you have to bring our child, to refuse our daughter. Because we're saying that when you are married for life. But there are certain circumstances, traditionally, that if it happens, it's okay for you guys to break up, to end the relationship. We're going to talk to Torgbui. Torgbui might say, no, never. But we're going to talk to Torgbui. I'm sure there are reasons. Torgbui is going to come back and tell us if it's a ever no, if it's a no, or if there are certain circumstances where you can actually return. They can just say, you know what? Now we can't even question. You have your right to say no, to refuse her, to divorce her traditionally. And we're also going to talk about what part of the family can you marry into? Because there are certain times people marry to, oh, my mother's sister, my mother's daughter, a daughter from another man, or my father, my uncle's daughter. So there are this confusion in our tradition. Sometimes we marry to certain people that we shouldn't be married to. We're not knowing that we are blood. We need to marry to. So we are also going to discuss that traditionally. So God willing, everything goes fine. We're going to continue doing testing and going these technical, solutions and make sure that we can get back clearly. And next time Torgbui comes, these will be our discussion, our topics that we're going to dive into. So guys, I thank you guys very much for joining. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Thank you for sharing the videos with everyone you know. Thank you for being patient with us. We just thank you. And we hope that you are open-minded, because these topics we are discussing, they are sensitive. But they are very important, because we are abroad, most of us, and we do things without knowing. We are in a situation we don't know. So we are doing this to enlighten ourselves so that we can learn and so that we can do better and honor our traditions. As we love it, we honor our traditions. So I thank you for hanging in there, and I'll see you on next Sunday. But before I go, I also want to say this to everybody. Miato benari pro semaine prochaine Milano kami. Ne Torgbui temva kami ne connexion na nyinyoria discussion ke mila wenwa va lekebele doare nde kukunami bena nyake mi blon. Munyi be mi le blon la zwa me yo. Mi le blon be mi ase gomi parce que tradition de la mi sene gomi. Intimité follow no minte ona nke mi dola o. Ne mi se gomi are. Mila nyale ke mila wedoa. Enti mi le play, mi akota mi le play, Torgbui le fion mi nouye, mi le fiani game amia nye na mia be vio na sonti entiare amerikpe ngba biji be mi le zun yo mwe yo mi le planue ne miaten wo do mia be tradition agilo donc are dimanche prochain mi la dogo ameko no kamewa nde kuku partager kuda ameko pata mi jesia partager kuda mi sia mi no kame kudomi dimanche are mi la gba trova ne moi e nous sia nous marcher mi la va mi la discuter et ni a sujet ke mblona mi wa ne connexion am na ni wa mi la trova ke mi la discuter sujet bu voir mi la ponpo mi ano kame entiare ndak pe na mi apota ke mi va kaja ndak pe na mi anani sesere lo Torgbui enyare da siwa enyare gbala siwa gbana meria
o akpa komanda Tiana be Adambu all the board of directors and the Nigeria like Shen Gaya ye madakpena chatting with Nicole ameji mito keresiana nchi madakpena ogbogbo madakpena amayokata ukpomi ole dotomi yo le semian kwa madakpena msiame ale yo dogbera de miata be no me o kade me viria niga bia o gbedodora be waiji be keke yo le economia agbo mavu ono vole miangolo akpena msiame.
Amen. I quit Torgbui. Torgbui is thanking all of us. And he said, those of you who pray so that your connection can get better. He's asking you guys to continue to pray so that open doors, more doors will open and, the connection will be even better next time. So guys, I really appreciate you guys. I just need you guys to be online. Next time you come online, please let us know where you're joining from. Again, stay interactive so that we can shout out to you. But we thank you very much. And for Maoko, have a great evening in Ghana. And Fuseni, great evening in Lomé. Dr. Tachu, great evening to you. Abuyama, great evening to you guys. So all of you who are joining on Siana TV or chatting with Nicole, I say thank you and great evening to you and even better week next week. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.